Good morning, good morning. It is Monday morning. It is the 24th of October. I'm first warning meteorologist Eric Burris. This is Coffee Talk. We get together 7 days a week, chat about what's going on in the world of weather, hopefully get your day started off right. It is lovely outside. I've been just savoring this flavor on our Tower Cam network here these last couple of moments time. This is a look outside in downtown Orlando. We see a mix of clouds and sunshine. Let's head over to the tourist district and see what's doing. Yeah, I mean, that's so nice, right? Over to Winter Park area, looking gorgeous. Into downtown, kind of that travel, yep, looking good there. All good stuff, right? Let's come over to the coastline, see what's doing. New Smyrna Beach, very lovely here. Let's head over to Brevard. Oh yeah, Brevard, you're looking good. And Melbourne, a few additional clouds. There are a few additional clouds in Melbourne because there have actually been some showers that are coming on in. So let's take a look at our first warning live Doppler radar, and very clearly there's not much to do. But let's zoom in here to Brevard County where we've been watching these showers, and there's that kind of next cluster of rain moving in. If you live around Grant, Valcaria, Malabar, I think Palm Bay stays dry at least for now, but yeah, we're just kind of watching these showers around. So not a bad start, but a few showers around. Good morning to you. How are you, Jamie? I see Frankie's in the room. Tina, good morning. Arnett, good morning, good morning. Janice, Cheryl, good morning. Nancy, how are you? Jan, good morning to you. Good morning, Shannon. It's a lovely day, isn't it? My Phillies are going to the show, Shauna says. Yeah, isn't that something? I'm excited for you. Phillies fans are certainly rejoicing. Yeah. All right, so let's talk about our 12-hour forecast through the day. We're going to keep in there a 10% mention of a few coastal showers. It's not going to be too bad, but yeah, just a little bit here or there. 77, 11 o'clock. We'll make it to about 81 degrees by 1 o'clock and 84 degrees our 3 o'clock temperature. Chuck, good morning. What are the general criteria for dry season? Too early to declare some of the dry season? That's not my call. The National Weather Service office is actually the ones that do it. But when it comes to the dry season, here's kind of our signals that we look at. And you know, it's important to note that we've kind of gotten into a bit of a drier stretch thanks to Ian. But essentially, mid-October is when we usually enter into that dry season. Cold fronts begin, daily sea breeze storms end. So it seems like this is about, you know, where we're at. Now, when it comes to the average dates, I'm going to be interested to see what they do because averages mid-October. Hurricane Ian came through in late September, right? And Hurricane Ian really did seemingly start the dry season. So we could have one of the earliest onsets of the dry season in Central Florida. It's definitely going to be an interesting thing to point out once we get that date. Yeah, so we'll have to see how it plays out. It'll be interesting though, right? Either way though, I mean, we are in lovely, lovely territory. Let's look at these temperatures. 68 in Orlando, 61 in the Villages, 59 in Ocala. Yeah, where are we going today? Here's a look at our high temperatures. 84 in Orlando, average high temperature is 83. So we're in that ballpark, right? It's 83 in the Villages, 83 degrees in Ocala. It is looking good. It is feeling good. It is everything good in the world. And I know a lot of people talk about like Mondays are a struggle, but let me tell you something. This Monday shouldn't be much of a struggle at all. Especially when you think about this. Now I have to update this here. Actually, before I even show the graphic, let's not even show it. Hold on. Stand by. All right, current temperatures across the country. So let's just look. Yeah, so it's 68 degrees in Orlando right now. It's 70 degrees in Minneapolis. Yeah, I was just teasing back and forth with a guy I worked with like 20 years ago in television. He's an anchor up in Minneapolis. It's just very funny to point out this time of year that our temperatures are warmer, you know? At least I get a kick out of it. I don't know about you. Rich is asking, when's the first snow expected? For us, that's not the case. Now, we can tease about being cooler than Minneapolis, but the reality is they've got a monstrous cold front moving in, right? And that's going to be a cold front that's going to blow out the cold. It's going to blow it right in. Yeah, so for what it's worth. Sherry says, what happened to the rain? It was raining and then it quit. Our trees, plants need the rain. well-ish, right? Like when we look at the drought index, and this is looking at soil conditions, this is the Keach-Byram drought index. We don't use this a ton, but when we look at the Keach-Byram drought index, we are definitely on the damper side of things. So we are very much looking good. You know, Ian dumped obviously record amounts of rain across Central Florida. Then we were done. So, you know, when it comes to the overall setup, we seemingly have entered into the dry season. Now, important to note, when we look at the fire danger index for the day, we are again in that moderate category. Humidities are still fairly low, and of course, low humidity is an amplifier when it comes to fire danger. Muggy meters keeping us nice and pleasant the next couple of days. Now, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we could get into a comfy instead of pleasant, which is, you know, it's just a subtle change. You know, humidity levels have certainly come up a few notches the last couple of days, and that's just going to continue naturally until we get our next big cold front. So the question is, when do we get our next cold front? Well, here's a look at the surface map just to kind of illustrate things, and let's just start with right now. We're quiet, we're boring, it's fine. There's that cold front that's moving through Minneapolis. It's going to be bringing severe weather potentially to other parts of the country, but for us, it's so weak, what it ends up doing is bringing a few showers and then just kind of hitting the reset button on our temperatures. So instead of our temperatures continuing to climb, they kind of just level out. So here's a look at the 7-day forecast, okay? 84 today, 86 tomorrow, 87 degrees on Wednesday. Then that front brings in that 20% chance of showers and kind of brings those temperatures down a notch or two. 85 Thursday, and then kind of hanging in the mid 80s for the end of the week into the weekend, okay? So no cold fronts, at least not for right now, listed here. Now, some of the models are saying Sunday into Monday we could have a weak front, but again, there's nothing that's really playing out big. So when are we actually looking at our next fall front? It's going to be about a week and a half. Not this end of the week, but the end of next week. That's when the models are starting to sniff out another front. Now, for right now, they're saying highs in the 60s, morning lows in the 30s and 40s. We'll have to see how this plays out. But for right now, that's it. That's the next front. Until then, we're kind of just sitting pretty, you know? But that's not a bad thing. When we look at our Halloween weekend forecast, you know, some people celebrate Halloween over the weekend before. Some people have events and things like that. Our Central Florida forecast looks fantastic for this weekend. High temperatures in the mid 80s, morning lows in the 50s and in the 60s. So yeah, not too bad. Not too bad at all. Betty says we are dry on the Gulf side too, using sprinklers. Not much rain since the hurricane and things are suffering. Indeed, indeed. But a reminder, the soil is still moist, which is the good news. Chemberley says, North Florida didn't get any rain from that hurricane. I think we've had 2 small showers since then. Everyone's so dry. So let's go back to the drought index just to point things out, okay? So this is the Keach-Byram drought index. And for Florida, you know, for Central Florida, we're doing fine. To point out, when it comes to the panhandle, at least on the colors, you know, the panhandle is kind of running mid-range drought. So the panhandle is starting to get into a drought element. All right, we're not there at the moment, but we're kind of working in that direction. So just keep that in mind. The drought elements are certainly elevated up there for Central Florida, though we are doing just fine. Okay, and at least there's that. At least there's that to deal with. All right, let's talk a little bit about the tropics here, because I'm going to have to go do weather here in a couple seconds. This is Invest 94. It's out near Bermuda, has a low-end 10% chance of developing into something tropical, not a threat to us, really not looking like it's wanting to do anything. Then there's this little element here just off of the east coast of Florida out near the Bahamas. It has a low-end chance, a 20% chance of getting going. So overall in the tropics, we are nice and quiet. Now, the next storm that does get a name would be named Lisa, followed by Martine and Nicole. I don't think that those two, though, are going to be named. I don't. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. How are we doing in comparison? I always like to chat about this. I always think it's fun. But we're nice and behind in the hurricane season. Yeah. 2022 through today, we've had 11 named storms. The 30-year average through today should put us at 12.8 named storms. Last year through today, we had 20 named storms. And for those of you that are super nerds when it comes to metrics, the ACE sitting at 84.1, the 30-year average is 110.9. Last year's ACE to date was 139. So, all the metrics are showing that we are actually behind in hurricane season. Of course, October, we always watch the waters relatively close to Florida. And November, we cannot forget, November still is hurricane season. Always watching, especially the Caribbean. Basically, in the month of November, you watch the old fronts that fade out. So we'll see how it plays out. Anne Marie points out, though, hurricane season is almost over. It is. It is almost over, and I am here for it. Will the former hurricane that hit Mexico, now a tropical depression, curve south and affect the Gulf and possibly Florida? John, we'll have to watch. There's no major indications of that, but certainly something we'll watch. Shauna, November 6th is when we go back an hour. I believe it is. Stand by. Yeah, I believe it's November 6th. Yep, Sunday, November 6th, which is right around the corner. Isn't that something? Any questions, comments, concerns before I have to go do TV here in a couple minutes, friends? Any questions? Rosebud, good morning to you. Nikki, how are you? Good morning. Speaking of nerd talk, Mickey says, with the tropics, what's the accuracy of this year's LRC? Well, when it comes to this year's LRC, we always do a post-mortem. But when it comes to the LRC, here's our hotspots that we had pointed out, and as soon as it loads, here's our hotspots and where storms went. It's going through, yeah, there you go. So, you tell me. You tell me what your thoughts are on that. I think we did okay. Looks good to me. It's been a very nice, quiet season, and I don't think that anybody is complaining about it. But yeah, so that's where we're at. All right, any other questions, comments, concerns? I'm gonna have to go do TV in a little bit, so I apologize. You're whispering and I'm late, Rosebud, I'm sorry. Let me look at the rundown here and see what show is this. This is 8 o'clock. What time is big weather? It's 8:16. All right, RSV spiking is the story before me. Need more coffee, I know. This year has absolutely flown by. Yep. CC Singh, so next year should be quiet too. We'll have to see. Listen, we're still in observation right now. We're still in the observation phase. Yeah. All right, listen, I'm gonna go do TV, people. We will have a 3:30 afternoon coffee talk today. And yes, it's a little abbreviated because I'm in the studio, but tomorrow we get back to the normal length of coffee talk. Does that sound cool? Works for me. Listen, be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you so much for hanging out for coffee talk this morning. At least we're nice and quiet these next couple of days. I'll take it. All right, I'll see you guys and gals at 3:30. And at 3:30 today, we will go a little more in depth with the tropics just because I'm running out of time this morning. All right, bye, y'all.